All right, guys, final World Cup qualifying, 2 legs. Look, it's Papua New Guinea. It's World Cup qualifying in Oceania. We're like so much better than these teams. Let's just not stuff it up, okay? Please, like we could probably get for a repechage if we needed a playoff, but come on. Come on. It's New Zealand. We've got to be at a World Cup. We're a second round just perennially now.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 136 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both Cashmere Tech and the All Whites. I hope you're doing well on current day. Going to make our way through the final of World Cup qualifying in Oceania for the 2038 World Cup. We'll take on Papua New Guinea over 2 legs to be fair. Hopefully we'll only need to show you guys one of these legs because really we should be spanking them because they're all the way down in equal 135th in the world, just over 100 places below us on those rankings. So if you're looking forward to that as well, is an update on what's been going on at Cashmere Tech off the back of the Club World Cup. Then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But yesterday got sent home from the Club World Cup by Barcelona, as you'd expect. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Since then, actually, our finances at Cashmere Tech have been boosted up even more by the fact we've got the prize money from the Southern League. And also, we've made our way through the final of the Chatham Cup. A quick look at who we're going to be taking on in the final of that competition. It's Napier City Rovers. Bit of a surprise there, but to be fair, going all the way back to the quarterfinal, this was where I thought Western Suburbs got knocked out. In fact, it was the round before the fourth round. Western Suburbs, they got knocked out by Upper Heart. And the round before that, the third round, that is where Auckland City got knocked out by Birkenhead. So two of the big guns that usually challenge us in that Chatham Cup final did get knocked out quite early this season. So it does mean our road to the final has been pretty comfy. To be fair, I think you saw some of those results before we went off to the Club World Cup at quarterfinal, got past Upper Heart 4-1. Then we took on Nelson Suburbs in the semis, bet them 3-1 to be fair. It took us a little while to run over the top of them. Napier City Rovers, they beat Manurewa. You'll see that that was a bit of a surprise coming up soon when we do check in on how all the sub-leagues did finish here in New Zealand before we've played the first couple of games of the National League Championship. But that really should be a final that we can win. And if we do that, that should almost get that balance up near even. And especially if later this season we can pick up the National League Championship as per usual as well. So that Club World Cup hasn't quite fully fixed the finances, but has given us an opportunity to do it later on this season by picking up some trophies in New Zealand. We have continued to pick up wins at Cashmere Technical. Let me just click over to the Southern League and all those other leagues so I don't spoil what's been going on so far in the National League Championship. And here it is, starting off with the Southern League. As you'd expect, we won all our games, as I said before. Nelson Suburbs in the end actually quite comfortably made their way through the championship, 7 points clear of Christchurch United, and just behind them, the likes of the Dunedin City Royals, Coastal Spirit, and Otago Uni. It was a pretty close relegation battle, but Mosgiel, they go down, just finishing 1 point below Parkland United. Going up to the Central League, as per usual, Western Suburbs won this one relatively comfortably, just one loss. Havelock North, though, continuing their good form the last couple of seasons, finishing second. And Wellington Olympic, they will go through to the National League Championship this season as well. To be fair, it was quite close between them, Miramar, and Waterside Karori for that last qualifying spot. Of course, Lower Hutt can't get there, an affiliate of the Wellington Phoenix. And going up to the Northern League, this is where the surprise takes place. Manurewa were going unbeaten for a long way in the Northern League, but to be fair, once they secured their place in the National League Championship, they did start to lose a couple of games to Auckland City and to Birkenhead, two teams who finished third and fourth. And East Coast Bays, they finished second. I think that might be their first time in the National League Championship in the saves of the Northern League. Did finish a bit differently this season. Manurewa were definitely the strongest team, in Auckland City were a bit scratchy, which you'll see shortly because we did take them on quite recently in that National League Championship. But the teams that got relegated, Melville United and Ruawahia. So that's how things finished in all the sub-leagues here in New Zealand. Going over to the Championship, and we are still unbeaten, the only team with a perfect record so far, and that is because we have just come off the back of a 5-1 win over Auckland City. Thankfully, that was the case as well. Hat-trick Tiago Almada, including his first free-kick goal for Cashmere Tech, to be fair, did take a big deflection from the wall, but an Almada hat-trick did give us there a 5-1 when we were 4-0 up inside 20 minutes. So that was a very good performance, especially because before that, pretty scratchy 1-0 at home over Birkenhead. That was the team who finished 4th in the Northern League. As you can see, the Northern League team is not much good this season outside Manurewa, albeit only 3 games played. And going back to the opening match day, we picked up a 3-1 win over Nelson Suburbs. Yet again, took us a wee while to get going in that game. But to be fair, Nelson Suburbs doing a pretty good job early stages here in the National League Championship. They've backed up that loss with wins over the Northern League teams in East Coast Bays and Manurewa. Hashtag Northern League so bad and all that stuff. So that's what's been going on at Cashmere Tech off the back of our time at the Club World Cup. But before we come back start of next week and get stuck in to the Chatham Cup final, because I think we'll show you guys that and then hopefully make our way into the OFC Champions League in 2038 about halfway through next week, because of course next year is a World Cup year, provided we get through this test. We were about to take on Papua New Guinea, but we should be beating them. A couple of changes though to our squad going into this window because of injuries. Justin Keats out with a really serious injury for quite a while. I think he'll be back in time for next year's World Cup, but it does mean a debut call up here for young Callum Kelly. He's a player you probably haven't heard of. Wellington Phoenix New Gen, only 17 years old, 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential, 4 of that gold. I want to see what he can do here in an all-white shirt, and hopefully he could be a future star for us in the latter stages of this save. Really good physicals, mentals and technicals, could use some work, but definitely someone who could do a decent job for us, especially against fellow teams from Oceania. He gets to start in this game because the usual replacement for Justin Keat and Chris Jones is on a heavy workload. Also an injury to Adam White, so it does mean that coming up from Cashmere Tech, Jack Honey gets his first start for the All Whites and will play this one with Cody Phoenix also on a heavy workload. And the other injury in this window was to Jacob Hall-Jones in the B here. Someone was already in the squad to replace him, that being Chris Greenidge, also from Cashmere Tech. But Josh Pickering's still here, so he can start this one alongside George McDonald and Jamie Young. In the front four, also Marcus Vinicius does come in for Louis Evans, the Cashmere Tech lad, on a heavy workload. But I think, apart from that, we're at full strength for this one. In fact, that's not the case. Let's just make that true now. Simon Curtis, he can come in for Lucas Callaghill. But now, that's the team that we want to play Papua New Guinea here in the first of these Oceania World Cup qualifying finals. Actually going to play this one live. I don't usually do that these days because my diabetic pump can go off quite a bit. And I don't want that noise to be coming through on the recordings, but hopefully that won't be the case. While we do this one, hopefully can pick up a nice comfy win here. I can go forward and then we can just make sure we're going to the FIFA World Cup in 2038. So let's get stuck in here to the pre-match eventually once my computer eventually decides to start working. Maybe this is why I don't do it live too often, but there you can see all the fringe players quite heavy going into this one, which is quite nice to say. Fringe players, Josh Pickering and Simon Curtis, a bit more than that these days, but you know what I mean. Everyone nice and happy going into a game that we should definitely be winning, and hopefully by a big nice margin, so I can play the second leg off camera. We can just show you guys how much we beat PNG by, albeit, as I think I said in the intro, if we actually lost to PNG, it would really hurt our ranking, but might be good for Oceania as a whole. Not too sure if that would change things for stuff like the OFC Champions League and the reputation of that competition. In theory, it should, and to be fair, we could beat someone decent in a playoff repechage type game to make our way into the World Cup. Could just maybe do a bit of match fixing here to help out a fellow Oceania team. But to be fair, even if we put out a full second strength team for this one, I'm not too sure if PNG would still beat us. But there's the team as we ran through before, a couple of debuts in there for Callum Kelly and also Jack Honey. So good luck to them as we go with our usual 4-2-3-1 PNG going with a 4-4-2. But really, at Eden Park, this should be quite easy work for us, this Oceania World Cup qualifying final. And 2 minutes in, the first highlight comes in this game. It's a goal kick here to PNG. Mongi pumps that one deep, but nowhere near a teammate. And Darman starts to make his way down the right-hand side, actually fit and on a full green heart for a window for once. George McDonald with a header, but unfortunately that one just not quite on target. It comes off the woodwork, but we're on the front foot early. Still 0 though. And going up to the 10-minute mark, another clearance there by PNG, but we win that one in the air and eventually do get it back after PNG just hump it forward a little bit. Now we get it out there to the debutant and Callum Kelly. Is he a new wonder kid here with the All Whites Beal in there for Kelly? Can he start with a goal? Yes, he can. Brilliant start here on debut for Callum Kelly, to be fair. It's only PNG. He does a river dance jig type thing there in the corner at the Garden of Eden, but that is a good start for him. Hopefully he might be a future star for us in this save with that high potential that he does have to be here. That's quite well worked there down our right hand side, and Kelly puts the cherry on top to give us a 1-0 lead. And we'll wait a little while for the next highlight in this game, but eventually get it about halfway through the first half. And again, as you'd expect in a game like this, we are in possession. Curtis plays that one across to Marcus Vinicius, quite a needed game time, as is Jack Haynes. So to be fair, this might quite help us this window of getting some Cashmere Tech lads up to full fitness. Kelly there looking to get himself on a hat-trick on debut, but unfortunately, just like McDonald earlier, that one comes off the woodwork. Some good chances here for our debutant to get a couple of goals on debut and maybe stake his claim for a place in this team in the future with that high potential that he does have. We could have just picked an extra striker and played George McDonald outright, but with that potential, did think we should pick Kelly, and he puts that one away. To be fair, it was a weak-air shot, but he puts it bottom left corner, and Callum Kelly on a hat-trick, as the commentary says, definitely staking his place for a regular start, albeit once Justin Keat comes back, that might be a bit tougher. Chris Jones has been doing a pretty good job in the A-League, but this looks like here might have unearthed a bit of a future star in this World Cup qualifying final. 2-0 up just before half-hour mark. And only a few minutes off the back of that second goal to Kelly, now a free kick here to PNG, but it doesn't take us long to win that one back in the air, and then Curtis, and good work from him charging forward to win that back for us. And now Kelly on the ball looking for a hat-trick to make it 3-0 here inside the first half. Our new wonder kid here with the All Whites Darman floats this one in there for Josh Pickering. So good in the air, even though he's an absolute midget. He puts that one home. Josh Pickering, that was sickening. This is a home game, actually. I should remember, need to put the tunes in the background for this one, but that is a good goal. And now we start to stamp our authority here in this game. As you would expect, Darman flips this one far post, and Pickering, as well as I think that would have been Big Red there in George McDonald. In fact, it's number 4. That might have been Tyler Bindon going up for that one for some reason. He could have been an awfully long way forward. No, it's McDonald. For some reason, thought the number there was Tyler Bindon's, but thankfully Pickering won that one in the air and put it away, and we go 3-0 up, and hopefully now can start to pinch a good gap on these guys to make that second leg over in PNG not mean too much. Another highlight with 10 minutes to go in the first half. Bindon to Beal over there looking for Kelly. We're definitely giving him quite a bit of ball here on debut, but unfortunately that time PNG do win it back, albeit with the Skagen press, we do put them under a fair bit of pressure, and that is an awful pass. Vinicius snuffs that out. Now Young with a pass, I did think briefly there might be a shot, but he was looking for Pickering, but then that pass is poor and it gets cut out by PNG, but that long ball far too deep there for their striker, and Bindon plays it to Darman. Now Beal just going backwards briefly, plays it back to Curtis, gets it back. McDonald will find Kelly on a hat-trick, and he'll complete it. A first half hat-trick for Callum Kelly. Remember the name. I don't think I can drop him now. That is a ridiculously good first half from him. The young Wellington Phoenix wonder kid, to be fair. I think so far in this save, they've produced all the wonder kids, apart from Michael Cornelius Beal. He's the only one back from our time at AFC Auckland. I think he's the only one they've produced who's ended up any decent so far in this save. But Kelly, first half hat-trick. Oh boy, might have got a really good one on our hands here at right wing. But a few minutes later, Pickering with a free kick. Curtis just puts that one over the bar, but now really stamping ourselves on PNG, 4-0 up just shy of half time. Let's see if anything else does happen before we head into the sheds. There is a goal kick there to PNG, and I think Kelly actually won that in the air. Eventually get it out to Darman down the right hand side. We'll look to square this. Yes, he will. And it's George McDonald with an EIEI goal. And this is looking like it might be a very long day at the office here for PNG. It'll actually be interesting to see if we get a rise up the world rankings off the back of this, because next window in November we are playing Senegal again. They're still above us on the world rankings. I would like to play someone different, but they're the only team that wants to play us for around us at that date. And a few days later, we also take on Tunisia. So a bit of an African tour coming up in a few months' time here in this save. But that is a superb first half, 5-0, and Callum Kelly with a hat-trick, and he did not pick up the assist. The assists there go to Beal, McDonald also got a goal, and of course Pickering got the other one. Darman with 2 assists, and McDonald with 2 assists as well. So it's going well so far for McDonald and Kelly in particular, but that is a very good first half. Don't think we need to make any changes going into the second one. Let's just tell the guys to keep on going because we've got a very nice lead, 5-0 after 45 minutes. And just over 10 minutes into the second half, eventually a highlight here, and again it starts with a goal kick to PNG, and McDonald headed that one down for Kelly, a tackle, but rather fortunately falls out there to Darman. McDonald will put that one away, heaves offside, but while we hear a couple of players have dropped down through some deep yellow hearts and sing, as this game does feel like it's pretty well under control, I think we can make some subs. We're definitely not taking off Kelly, he's going too well. Chris Jones hopefully might be fit for that second game, albeit we could give some game time to Ata Uelese, but we might do that later on. I want to see if Kelly can score a few more goals, but Darman, he's quite fragile. As we know, Tressel can come on for him, the former Cashmere Tech lad. Also, let's swap out our centre-backs. Bindon, Kelly Hill can come on for him, and Billingsley on the other side. I do think that Lucas Kelly Hill a bit more natural as a ball-playing defender than Billingsley, and indeed that is the case, but we'll make 3 subs there, still 5-0, with just over a half hour left. And we've just made our way into the last 15 minutes of this game, and it's been pretty disappointing so far. There's been no highlights, which is pretty average, apart from that early one we did see, which McDonald put away in an offside position. But our hat-trick hero here, Callum Kelly, is down to a red heart. We're going to play Uelese, as I said earlier, at right wing, because Chris Jones on a heavy workload. And also should probably make our other final sub while we're here. Now, Honey's picked up a yellow card. I would like to take him off. Cody Fengus also, though, is sitting on a yellow card, so maybe that's not a good idea. Don't want a suspension going into that final game that we do play in qualifying. Not that it should make too much difference, but it might be a little bit annoying. So instead, we'll take off one of our key players here in Josh Pickering. Chris Greenidge is on a heavy workload, but we'll give him some game time. Pickering, definitely more important for us here at the All Whites. Let's see what happens here in the last 10 or so minutes of this one. Hopefully, might just score one more goal to absolutely make sure they can't come back. And right off the back of those subs, there is a throw for us here inside of the final third. It does go back though to Vinicius and back in there. I think that was a Darman. It goes through to Uelese. Definite push in there on Young, but no penalty given. But Uelese can't quite put that one away. If it was Callum Kelly, no doubt he would have scored 4. Should have left him on in hindsight, but now a corner. Kelly healed off of the woodwork, and now Billingsley down there looking for Greenidge. Can't quite find him. Still 5-0, so that was a big chance for us there to make it a perfect 6 in this game. 6-6 something dodgy, I was going to say there. Let's not say that. With 5 minutes to go in this game, there is still 5-0, but there is another highlight here. We put the ball into mixer. Can't quite find someone at that far post, but now Uelese just jogs his way inside the box. Takes on the shot from a tight angle. Pretty average one, that one, but it did take a deflection, so maybe something will happen here from this corner. Let's also praise the guys because they're doing pretty well in this game, even though it's just PNG, and Lucas Kelly Hill justifies the upcoming praise. He makes it 6-0 this time, puts the header on target, does Bambi on ice. To be fair, don't know if he's scored too many goals in the episode so far when the music has been available. Now I'm thinking about it, Callum Kelly definitely doesn't have a song, so that might be something I need to work on before editing. Shaun does put this one together, but just before the game was about to be wrapped up, another highlight for us here. Can we make it 7-0, make it a rugby score at Eden Park, which would be pretty appropriate. Uelese gets that ball down the right-hand side, squares it nicely for George McDonald, and it is a rugby score, 7-0. McDonald gets himself on a hat-trick, I believe. I think that is it. The would-be third goal he scored was the offside one, I think, early in this half, but McDonald, that one does take a big deflection off the PNG defender, but still, good finish that one to make it 7-0. We'll just check. That is indeed 2 goals, not a hat-trick there for George McDonald. So thankfully, Callum Kelly on debut will still pick up the match ball, but that was a very comprehensive performance there at Eden Park. 7-0 after the first leg of our OFC World Cup qualifying final. Definitely no chance PNG will be able to turn this one around in the second leg, so I'm going to go forward to play that one, see if we can maybe give Callum Kelly some more game time. Hopefully he'll be fit enough, our new wonder kid here with the All Whites, but we should be coming back with our ticket booked for the FIFA World Cup. And we are back off the back of the second leg of that World Cup qualifier. And as you can see there, top left corner, we really went hard on these guys in the second leg. We did put out a pretty rotated team, but 10 up by half-time. Second half a bit more average. They scored the last goal, PNG. So based on the old last team to score rule, they'd be going to the World Cup. But thankfully, that's not actually what counts. We beat them 12-1 over at the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium. and 19-1 on aggregate. So we are going to the 2038 FIFA World Cup, as you'd expect, because we're in Oceania and we're a top 35 ranked team, 33rd in the world. Should really be above Senegal and probably Australia as well. We'll get to that hopefully in the next couple of windows before we get stuck into that World Cup. That was an absolute smashing we did there over in PNG. Chris Jones came in for Kelly because unfortunately he wasn't quite on a full green heart. And maybe I need to just temper expectations with our new wonder kid because Chris Jones scored 5 goals, all of them in the first half. Also Josh Pickering, he got 4. George McDonald, he popped up with 2. Sam Clark got 1. So yeah, it was a pretty heavy beating there we put on PSG. A little bit frustrating. They scored with that shot in the 89th minute, but that is an absolute pumping. We go through the World Cup off the back of a 19-1 win. So we're going to be at the World Cup next year, albeit that was never really in too much doubt, but that's a really good performance. Hopefully we can carry that over into that upcoming window when we do take on both Senegal as well as Tunisia. All the good praise here for our guys off the back of that win. A really good goal in there too from Sam Clark. We might actually show you guys that one. Josh Pickering also scored quite a good one, but he scored that many. I can't remember which goal it was. Let me just find the Sam Clark goal here so we can have a look at it, because I think that might have been goal of the game, and it's the only one I can remember from the right goal scorer because there were so many goals in that one. Let's just show you guys the best goal from the game. I think it was anyway, or at least the one that I know it will be, because there were so many goals. I'll probably get the Pickering one wrong, especially because he scored a couple in quick succession, but this one, it was the 12th-hour goal. Sam Clark just sitting out there on the edge of the box. It's a looping effort into that top right corner. Really nice strike, that one. That made it 12-0. Annoyingly, they got the goal later on, but we go through 19-1, and we are off, as you'll see it shortly, to the FIFA World Cup in 2038. Hopefully, we can go a little bit deeper than we did last time around, where I think we got knocked out in the second round by Spain. That was a bit disappointing. Hopefully this time we might even be able to top our group and get a bit of a weaker opposition in that second round and go on a bit of a deeper run like we did back in 2030 when we made the quarterfinals by knocking out Brazil on our way, as it says there. But that will do it for today's episode, qualifying there with the All Whites for the World Cup. Not that it was ever really in too much doubt, but we do it quite comfortably there off the back of that 19-1 aggregate win. If you enjoyed it, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. As I said earlier, we'll come back next week and we're going to play the next game in the save Chatham Cup final with Cashmere Tech. We'll take on Napier City Rovers. They finished 7th in the Central League, so in theory, that should be pretty easy work for us. Hopefully that will be the case, despite the fact they've done quite well and did beat Manurewa on their way to that final. So we definitely need to respect them, but we should really be beating them, especially considering how we did at the Club World Cup with that Cashmere technical squad. But until the start of next week for that Chatham Cup final, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.